For the first time ever, a virtual artist, a virtual DJ performed at a major event. And that was Red Rocks. You can see this right now. I'm on Instagram, and this is on DJ Lovers Club. You can see right here, for the first time in history of dance music, a fully virtual artist named Death Pixie pulled up to perform at Red Rocks between Deadmau5's sets. From their understanding, it's a team of about a dozen people behind the Death Pixie project, making the music, designing her, and creating the entire world she lives in. Those people are at least 45 times smarter than me because this is wild stuff. What do you think of the vibe? So this is how it looks. So you can see there's no one there. I will say I wish I could play this right now. I did listen to some of the music. Death Pixie, the music's actually really good. So my guess when it comes to Death Pixie, I gotta be honest, as we're looking at this right now, is it's not like a Suno AI music generator artist that they made the music in Suno and blah, blah, blah. This seems like this entire thing was made by humans. So it's almost like a middle ground between human and AI, I guess, because it is 99, I think maybe even 100% human generated. And if I go here too, you know, Deadmau5 brought out a virtual DJ and literal robot DJs at Red Rocks. So it gets even deeper. When I go here, you can see that a virtual DJ named Death Pixie performed between two Deadmau5 sets at Red Rocks, and she brought out Skylar Grey. So kind of interesting that, you know, this virtual DJ, and I'm not talking about the software, like Tractor, Virtual DJ, and Serato. Well, not virtual DJs around anymore, but you can see this virtual DJ brought her out. And then when I go here even, Deadmau5 performed between two robot DJs, you could see from this footage. Really, really interesting. Almost kind of like Daft Punk-ish, kind of, you know? All right, you know, and you can see, as you can imagine, when it comes to the comments, people feel very mixed about this. I think especially for any DJ, I think even for the crowd, I'd be a little thrown off being like, wait a minute, there's no one behind the decks, right? I mean, if I go to the comments, you know, how do I see them? I know I zoomed out a little bit. I think I have to do this. Give me a second. You can see the comments here. Thumbs down button. I think performing requires a human being, just my 2 cents. I think we're bringing AI this far into artistic expression. We're cooked. I hate this. This really isn't helping the quote-unquote DJs just press play narrative. Cool concept, but couldn't sit through an hour of this. Maybe a changeover to keep the vibes pumping. Now, this does bring up a lot of really interesting questions. Because, one, I just got to ask. Let me know what you think in the comments. How would you react to this? How do you feel about it? Let's start there, because I feel a bit mixed, you know, as you can imagine. If anything, I lean on the negative side. Now, starting on the positives, I guess if I'd word like that, one, the music's pretty dang good, right? So definitely made by humans. I mean, I know you could argue maybe in the future AI is going to get good or just as good as humans when it comes to making music. I think we're already there. But for this kind of genre, when it comes to Death Pixie, it's very like a bit dark, kind of Rez, Deadmau5 style. Like I'd say more on the Rez side. Rez meets Drezzo, if I'd have to describe the music, kind of dark house, kind of mid-tempo, left field bass style. Really good. I actually really enjoy her music, whoever her is. And like, you know, DJ Lovers Club said, their knowledge, or the little knowledge they have, is that it's a team of people who made it, made the music, all this kind of stuff. So on one end, it is mostly human-made, right? I know some people in the comments said it was AI. It seems like it is mostly human-made, and maybe they're doing it as an experiment. Maybe they're doing it for fun. I remember hearing through the grapevine, and don't quote me on this, that Marshmello, who originally used to be .com, but Marshmello, who we all know, originally actually started as a few different people as a joke, as a team of people putting together an artist. What if we had a guy wear like a weird kind of marshmallow type hat and made this kind of poppy, future-based, almost future trap-style music and all this kind of stuff, but .com was the main, like, pioneer behind it, and then one thing led to another, and then now we have Marshmello, right? So Marshmello, though, of course, is a person. But originally, as far as I understand it, through the grapevine and the lore, it was a team. Now, Death Pixie, it's going to be interesting to see how this evolves because it was humans who made it. So on one end, you could argue that humans made this. On the other end, and let's be honest, how would you feel going to a show, not seeing a human on stage at all? And it does bring up a lot of really interesting questions because, of course, when I go to a show, let's talk about DJing specifically. I'm not talking about any other genre because for this video, of course, we're sticking with electronic music. I want to see someone do stuff, right? I want to see someone DJing. But then, like, say, we hear about DJs who pre-plan sets. Well, that's a little different. It's kind of like having a set list, very similar to like a rock artist or a hip hop artist having a set list. I'm going to play this song, then this song, then this song, right? And then it's gone a step further with a lot of artists who literally have what's called a pre-recorded set. Like, say it's an hour long, they hit play, and it's literally an entire hour long, and they're up there doing this kind of thing and blah, 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 and it's all for show. It's all fugazi. It's almost like a magic trick where there's nothing really behind it. It's literally all pre-recorded. All the things they do, all this kind of thing, the twisting the knobs, that thing, everything is pre-recorded. So it's all for show. But it does bring up the question, well, I would much rather see that than see a virtual artist, I gotta be honest. But then on the other end, you have to ask the question, what's the difference? Like, what's the difference between a virtual artist who just isn't there at all, and then an actual human artist when literally everything is pre-recorded? Everything's pre-synced with the lights, the visuals, etc. Yes, I will say this, like lighting and VJs or virtual DJs in the sense of, actually, bad way to word that. Video DJs, let me say that. Like video DJs, I've gotten better where, like, say, like back in the day, it was kind of hard to sync the lights, the pyrotechnics with the music. Now, technology is really good. If a DJ's quote-unquote real DJing and DJing on the fly, I think like James Hype is a good example of this. John Summit actually is a very good DJ to just mix things on the fly and they do however they're feeling. It's pretty good now with the lights to sync everything and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, even still, sometimes they have an hour-long pre-recorded set that things are perfectly synced and everything. What's the difference between seeing that? And I think some people say, well, I still at least want to see a human on stage. I still want to see a human, right? And I think some people may argue as well, like, well, at least if it's a pre-recorded set, like an hour-long pre-recorded set, at least a human made it, right? And I get that perspective. Like, at least a human made it, so you know, it's almost like seeing, if you see, like, say, a pop artist sing, but they're lip singing. They're lip syncing, right? They're lip singing where you can tell when they're singing, they're just mouthing the words, but everything's already been pre-recorded. Literally, I think the version of lip singing. Wait, is it lip singing or syncing? I actually can't remember. Wait. Is it lip syncing? Okay, lip syncing. I was like, is it lip syncing or singing? So lip syncing. So I feel like the version of an artist lip syncing versus a DJ doing a pre-recorded set is the exact same, right? Exactly the same in both instances. You're just doing something that's pre-recorded and you're going through the motions. But I think most people feel like, well, in this case, the artist, the pop artist, made the song, blah, blah, blah. Maybe their voice is sore or hoarse, and sometimes you can't really tell. Let's be honest, in some cases, you can't really tell if they're lip syncing or not. Same with DJing, unless you really, really know. Like, I can tell at a certain point, yeah, this person's not actually DJing. Just like maybe a singer would be able to tell, oh, this person's definitely lip syncing. So there is something to be said about that, but then the argument is, well, they're human. They made the songs themselves. They made, like, the pre-recorded set. They made their vocals, of course. They sang them. So there's a little bit of like okay, I kind of get it. They at least put in their work, and sometimes performing is just part of the performance. It's all smoke and mirrors, similar to magic. But then you have to argue with Death Pixie. Well, technically, though, this is also made by humans, right? So, like, again, we're going deep down the rabbit hole where it's like, well, if the main argument some people have is, I just want to know that it's made by a human, and I kind of give a little bit of a pass to, like, say, a lip syncer because it was a human who did blah, blah, blah. Well, Death Pixie is made by humans, right? Again, I'm just kind of giving some interesting thoughts on both perspectives, but I think, in general, and this is how I kind of feel, I'm not the biggest fan of this. I'll be honest. I think that's not anything that's too surprising to anybody. I think most people are going to feel that way because what's tough is, on one end, I do like Death Pixie's music. And I think there's a definite separation, and this is where things get interesting when it comes to a virtual artist, as they're calling it. I'm not even saying AI artist, because my perspective is the same, where if the music's good, I'll listen to it. I actually really do like Death Pixie's music. Granted, it is made by humans and a team, as it seems, but I really like Death Pixie's music. Like that song in that video, I don't know if it's released or not by her, I'm not sure. Or her, them, whatever, I don't know, right? Like the team, the AI, if they used AI tools, I don't know. But it was a banger. So I will definitely listen to her music, to be honest. Like I actually might dig through her Spotify today and listen to some of the songs because I really like that style, that kind of dark, res, drezzo kind of style. I love that kind of music. At the same time, though, there's a definite point between listening to that artist and enjoying the music and performing. I think that is where it kind of steps into a different realm where I'm like, okay, like I feel like if I go to a show, I want to hear really good music with someone on stage. Even if it's pre-recorded, maybe there is something to be said, like a magic trick. I think it's kind of a good example where, let's say a set is pre-recorded. Even still, as long as the DJ's making it fun and they're hyping in, they're dancing, all this kind of stuff, if they put on a good show and they're a good performer, that's kind of the point, right? That's kind of the reason why you go to a concert, for the experience. Just like a magic trick, if I see a magician do a crazy magic trick, of course I know there's some smoke and mirrors. I know there's a trick. I know that this isn't real magic, but it's a performance. It's a skill. It's the art of putting on a good show, and that's why you're there, right? And so it does bring up a lot of questions, though. Like, let's say somebody was at Red Rocks at that show, and let's say maybe they were on something, right? Or whatever, and let's say their back was towards the stage and they're talking with their friends, and they're like, oh, and I don't know how long her set was, but let's say this was between Dan Mess's sets. So let's say it was like, I don't know, half hour, but let's say their back is turned, and let's say they're just rocking out with their friends, and they don't know. For that half hour, to them, they're probably like, man, whoever this is, this new Death Pixie person, they're super sick. Not realizing this is literally no one on stage and it's all virtual. It's all virtual. So is also maybe an ignorance is bliss kind of perspective there as well, where it's like, if you didn't know if it's a human or robot, or human or AI, or human or virtual, maybe you'd enjoy it more. I don't know, right? It does bring up a lot of just really interesting questions for me, because I'm like, I think the biggest thing I think of at the end of the day is this: where's this going, right? I think that's what I think is, could it be, which is wild to say, could it be that in 10 or 20 years, we as humans or people don't feel the need to have a person on stage? Could it, I know this is like a crazy Black Mirror style thinking, but could it be that maybe it's something that is almost become outdated? And for better or for worse, I think if anything for worse, at least to me, but is that maybe a different generational thinking? Take what's going on right now with self-driving cars. In case you know, you have Ubers, Lyfts, taxis, limousines. From the dawn of time, we had human drivers. You have social interaction, you talk to them, they drive you to point A to point B. Now we have Waymos. Waymos are self-driving cars. And now there's even Zooks. There's now different companies making their own self-driving cars and having self-driving rideshare apps. Tesla is getting in the game. Zooks, Waymo. So before it was like humans versus humans, taxis versus rideshares, taxis versus Uber and Lyft. Then we had Uber versus Lyft, so different rideshare companies. Now we have Uber and Lyft versus Waymo, so humans versus robots or AI. And now we have AI versus AI. That's how crazy things are getting. And who knows, maybe in the future, I wouldn't be surprised in 10 years if people say, oh yeah, when it comes to Waymos, for example, why would you take a human driver? You're going to trust a human who they might get into an accident? In case you don't know, Waymos have been shown to have less accidents, less traffic violations, and less injuries when accidents do happen. So people might say in 10 years, wait, you're going to trust a human? Why not take a Waymo? Who cares? You're still getting there. And what take things one step further, and I promise you there's a point to all this. Right now, Waymo is using what's called a remixed, as I call it, Jaguar I-Pace. So they take the Jaguar I-Pace, remix it to create a Waymo vehicle with all the cars, all the visuals, the cameras, etc. Then it goes off and drives, right? But the thing is, you can't sit in the front seat. The front seat's there just kind of for show. Now, though, in the next generation of Waymo vehicles, the vehicle, picture like if you took a bus and you just cut half of it out, that's the new Waymo vehicle. It's almost like a half a bus. It's like a weird, almost like a minibus, where they don't have a driver's wheel or steering wheel. Because why do you need it? No one's ever going to drive it. No one is driving it. So it could very well be that that's the future of vehicles. It's almost like minibuses or just moving seats, right? A container with moving seat space, or a moving container with seats, and that's it. Now, taking that to this, part of me wonders, could it be in the 10 or 20 years, we were like, hey, I don't care when it comes to seeing performance, if it's a human, as long as the music sounds good, as long as the lights look good, as long as I'm having a good time. Does that mean, for example, if you think about it in a very weird way, the way stages are set up, and again, this is like 20, 30 years in the future maybe, everything points for the artist. That's the way it's always been, that's the way it always will be. You have the stage, and then you have the stage right there. But then you have to think to yourself, well, if I'm seeing a virtual DJ, I don't think I care to look at the stage. Like, I get that's what it's facing towards, but I don't really care to look at the stage. Could it be that in the future, 30 or 40 years from now, it's literally just a room that doesn't face anything? It's almost like a 360-degree pyrotechnic thing, because the only reason why everything and a concert venue is pointed somewhere, so everyone's looking at that artist. But if there's no artist, and people don't care to see the artist, because in this case, like, you know, it doesn't really matter, why would you need the stage at all? Is it similar to that Waymo example where, you know, on future Waymo vehicles, even look at Zoox? Actually, right now, Zoox, which just debuted in Las Vegas. I think I want to do a vlog about it on my vlog channel. But like Zoox in Las Vegas, there is no driver's seat. They're already debuting Zoox where it's literally just, like I said, two seats kind of facing each other in a kind of like a box, I guess, and it just moves. And in that case, Zoox kind of said, why even have a steering wheel when that's the main focus of the car, because that's the driver. But the driver doesn't really exist. It's the vehicle. Could it be that in future venues, if this virtual thing does take off, there's no direction things are pointing towards, and it's really just a box or an open area thing, and they're just music and pyrotechnics in a 360-degree area? Could that be the future? And then they have different virtual artists. Could it be that the lineup is all virtual? And I know this is like crazy future thinking, Black Mirror style thinking, but it is something that we have to consider. You know, I think it was one executive from Deezer said that in the future, could it be that, like say Gen Alpha, for example, doesn't care if a song is made by a human or robot? They're like, hey, if it's a good song, it's a good song. I actually have to agree where I say, hey, that's actually already happening. I have already mentioned this in a lot of videos where I've gotten a lot of comments on my AI music videos of people saying, hey, Mark, I actually don't care if a song is made by AI or human. If it's a banger, it's a banger. And I'll be honest, for me, and I've said this before, I've used Suno to make my own AI music under the artist The Infinite Lamb Chop, my kind of AI music project that I do just for fun. Could it be that, you know, for me, like I said, I'll prefer some of the AI music. And could it be that in the future, will I then go to performances? Because right now, it seems to be the case that people are kind of saying, hey, I'll listen to a song, even if it's AI, I don't care. Would I rather, like say, taking this DJ set, I really do like Death Pixie's music. So for me personally, would I rather listen to a virtual set of, like, say, music that I really like, and I like her music a lot, would I rather listen to her music on a virtual set or listen to a human DJ actually DJing, but I'm not a fan of the music? I might choose a virtual set. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be blunt on camera. I'll be transparent. What does that mean then for the future? Could it be that maybe we're moving to this next stage where people say, hey, if it's a good set, it's a good set. I don't care if it's virtual or human. I don't care if I could see someone on stage or not. You know, and then, again, this is going aggressively down the rabbit hole. Does this mean it's going to remove the human connection? Could this be the start of something big? Because as you can imagine, I think the bigger issue is there's two things going on in play here. One is the creative aspect. But creatively, this was made by humans, so we could say that. But I think two is the money aspect. As you can imagine, having a virtual DJ is way cheaper and safer than having a human DJ. You know, you could probably pay him less. You don't have to worry about travel or airfare. It's probably some virtual thing where the songs get sent over or the pre-made set gets sent over, the visuals get sent over, takes 2 seconds. You don't have to worry about someone being too hungover. You also don't have to worry about a green screen room or anything like that, or the green room. You don't have to worry about having a rider like, oh, my my artist wants 3 big bottles of Don Julio. No, they don't drink. A virtual DJ doesn't drink, right? They don't care. So it's way cheaper for venues and booking agents and promoters to promote a virtual DJ. Could it be that in the future, if, like, say, some business conglomerate looks into this in a very interested way, it is significantly cheaper and safer to deal with virtual entities, or if I were like that, or robot DJs as opposed to humans, because there's way less risk and it's way cheaper, and you're gonna get way more bang for your buck. Now, I don't know. Could it be that this is where the buck stops? Could, like, the buck stop here where it's like, whoa, no. This is it. It was interesting. It was kind of cool having especially deadmau5 DJ on stage with those 2 robots. It looked kind of cool. But again, these are all these really interesting questions that are being brought up by this because, like I said, this is the first time this has happened. What does that mean for the future? I don't know, but we're in it. We're in it. And in some ways, I think this is kind of cool, I'll be honest. In other ways, I don't know what this means, but things are changing, and things are changing very fast.